What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the FM Save. It's episode number 28. And today we're returning with two massive games as you face Liverpool away at Anfield and after an international break, Chelsea at home in a West London derby. And I'm also going to show you a couple of sales from the Fulham team in the January transfer window as well. Okay. What did I... Oh, run off camera. How the run off camera? I did the same introduction every single day. How did I forget I'll show you the run off camera? Anyway, let's get to it. So of course in the last episode you saw the 1-0 loss away at Carrow Road and the 1-0 home defeat to West Ham in the FA Cup third round. I was fearing the yearly mid-season collapse after the last episode, but to be fair, 5 games off camera and we have responded quite well. We began a goalless draw away in Wales against Cardiff for 3 straight wins in the Premier League. First a comeback victory against Leicester by 2-1 at Craven Cottage. Alvarado scored this incredible goal 22 minutes in with a spin shot from like 25 yards. Remarkable goal, but right before the break, Fabian Geraldo gets us back on level terms. There was 60 minutes to go. Turns provider as Babangida get, I believe, his first goal of the season in the league, making it 2-1 as we completed the turnaround. Following that 5-0 win at home to Newcastle. I got an achievement for this game, by the way, thumping. I think it's the first time we scored 5 goals against a team in a competitive fixture. We beat the Magpies by 5-0. Babangida once again, second goal in 2, giving us the early lead, and whilst there was an own goal 6 minutes in, the game kind of died down until the hour mark when Babangida scored once again, his third in 2, and then 3 goals got scored in 30 minutes. First tossing out Adebayo heading in a Parakambi free kick, and then the young Brazilian getting a goal himself with 15 minutes to go in a big thumping there. And following that 2-1 victory away at Turf Moor against Burnley, Fabian with both goals in this one, first heading in a Connor Roberts cross and then converting 31 minutes in, whilst Burnley will guard themselves a consolation goal. It's all it proved to be. And following that, after 3 straight wins and no losses in our last 4, back to losing matters as we lost to Arsenal in a London derby where Martinelli scored like inside the first minute, and then after that absolutely nothing happened. We didn't create a single chance to get back in the game in a very frustrating, lackluster, passive 1-0 defeat. So on the back of that defeat there, as you can see in the table, we have slipped out of the European places once more. We're down to 8th place right now, 3 points off Leicester, though we do have the game in hand, and if we do win today, then we will leapfrog them and go back in to a Europa Conference League spot, possibly Europa League spot, depending on how Everton do. So we're outside the top 7, but look at the gap here with 13 games to go. There's a 10-point gap between us and Southampton in 9th place. So whilst we have dropped out of the European places, we're right there. And I'll whisper this quietly, but we're only 8 points off a Champions League spot. So there's still a definite chance we could finish in a European place, but I think after today's episode, we'll know whether we're good enough or not. Now, as I mentioned, we have seen a couple of departures from the Fulham team in the January window as well. Carl Darlow was sold to Swansea for £600,000. This was a total waste of money signing. I bought him at the start of last season as a backup from Rek Rodak, but yeah, to be honest, he didn't get much game time, to be fair, and it just wasn't worth the money. Ashby Hammond is just as good as Darlow at the moment in the save, so that really was a poor decision from me, but you can't always get them right. But we also sold a youngster to Swansea as well for £1 million. This is a young Welsh winger they wanted, and there's a 50% next sale clause as well, so he wasn't going to sign a new contract. His deal's not coming at the end of the season, so I thought, you know what, I'll get a little bit of cash and a big sell-on clause in case he ever develops into a world beater. Ferguson was loaned out for like the 9th consecutive time. He's gone to Copenhagen in Denmark for the rest of the year, so he's never been a regular starter. I don't think he ever will be. He's out of contract next season, but I don't know whether he's staying or not. And also the most incredible thing happened in the January window. I touched on it in the last episode. Don't ask me how I pulled this off, but I made a profit on Matt Targett. We signed him on deadline day last season for 3.3 mil. He barely played for us. Whenever he did play, he was bang average at the very, very best. KWP nailed down the first choice left back role after Anthony Robinson went to China. Somehow, I made a 1.7 million profit on Matt Targett. That's the best thing I've done in the save so far. I don't know how I pulled it off, but there you go. And then look at the finance situation as well. Just shy of the £20 million mark right now. And our wage budget is back down under £1 million. You know I'm pleased to see that. I don't think there's anything else to show you in the run of camera. So let's dive into the first game of today's episode. Liverpool away. They've been the best team in the save so far. They won treble last season. And if they just avoid defeat here at Anfield, they'll go back to top of the table. Don't fancy our chance in either of the games today. On the injury report right now, as you can see, Connor Roberts is currently down. What did he go down with again? A pulled abdominal muscle, so he's down for the moment. And also Harrison Reed is down as well with a broken toe. Haven't seen him since, I think, December time. So yeah, these two won't play a part in today's episode probably. And this will be our team. 4-2-3-1. Rodak's in goal. Mings is coming at left back, by the way, and KWP's been switched to the right, and this is working pretty well, to be fair. Tosin and Jerome once, as usual, the CB duo. Zambo and Gagliardini, our high-energy midfield partnership, with Babangida, who's been in great form recently on the left-hand side. By the way, 19 years old now, Babangida, 19 years old, developing quite nicely. I don't know whether he'll be a star in this Fulham team, but he's got a long way to go, and he is doing pretty well, to be fair, in the games he gets. Oh, whoopsie daisy. Grealish is on the right, and Parakambi does support Fabian up top. On the bench, Ashby Hammond, Porteous, Brian, Cook, Hansen, Aaron Caballero, and Bamford. And by the way, Joe O'Brien has agreed to join Hibernian at the end of the season when his contract expires. First to two, it's Liverpool away. Can't just get anything from this game, but you never know. Come on, Fulham. Abubakar Kamara has also decided to leave at the end of the season as well, by the way. I think he's going to Belgium, I can't remember now, but basically his work permit has expired. And, you know, as we know, Kamara, whenever he plays against a big team, always seems to score. But he's rarely going to get any game time nowadays from here on out. He's in his late 20s, so I was fine letting him go on a free transfer. So lots of change for Fulham for this season and next. But what doesn't change is our form against the big teams. 4 minutes in, we're already behind. David Neres with the goal. Yeah, I don't think we're good enough for European football yet. I really don't. Like, we are getting there. We are getting there, and we've come on leaps and bounds this season, primarily due to signings of our two South American wonder kids. But I think next season is just probably a little bit too ambitious for this Fulham team, knowing we're only 4 seasons into the save. It's a marathon, not a sprint, long way to go. And I'm not going to wave the white flag, obviously, with 12 games to go. We're still in the hunt. Like, we're still there. But if we can't beat the big teams, if we can't beat the boys that we're competing with for European football, as Fabian really should have scored his 11th in the Premier League and made it 1-1. But yeah, if we can't pick up points against these guys consistently, then we're not good enough to battle with them, if you know what I mean. And that's just evident right there. So Maximovic crossfields to Garvidol, and now Sadio Mane is slipped through. Rodak makes the save. What an action-packed first 20 minutes. Briefly on Geraldo as well. Geraldo, the big G. As you can see, developing really, really nicely indeed. And he's got the 10 Premier League goals already this season. I'm so happy with how he and Parakambi have hit the ground running in their first years in a Fulham shirt. And here's Zambo on the ball as we look for a chance to get back in the game. And we've done so. Grealish turns it in from a tight angle. But was he offside? I think he probably was. And we should wait for the VAR, but I'm pretty sure he was offside, and it's chalked off. To be fair, we had a couple of good chances early on in this game, and yeah, right decision there. Great through ball by Babangida. That was defence splitting, threading the needle stuff, but unfortunately, Grealish was indeed a fraction offside. He has come on a little bit, Jack Grealish, since the tough start to the season. With all the injuries he's had, it's hard for him to get consistent game time. Maybe that's why he's not been quite as good as I was hoping. Anyway, 6 minutes to go in the first half, and goodness gracious me. That is absolutely shocking. Yeah, don't put us in Europe next season because we'll get torn apart against the major European sides. What was that? Well, we do like to play out from the back. But Marek Rodak must have thought João Felix was wearing white for that goal. I mean, that was literally straight to him. He didn't even need to move an inch to his left or right. He literally chipped the ball onto his head. 2-0 Liverpool. Look, I love Marek Rodak, don't get me wrong. One of the best decisions of the save was not spending big on a goalkeeper in Season 2 and trusting him with the number 1 jersey. But every now and then he does have a mistake in him, particularly in the big games as well. Do you remember Arsenal back in Season 2? But then again, he does make up for it with some good one-on-one stops every now and then. I think what we're lacking really is consistent goals from our inside forwards. Look, 4-2-3-1 is the way we'll play, probably forever. Like, you know, we'll have different tactics we'll alternate to here and there, but 4-2-3-1 is our style. But it's the inside forwards' lack of productivity that I think that harms us the most. You think about it, since Season 1, we've never had someone that consistently can bag like 6, 7, 8 goals a season, as Salah is denied, but Felix turns in a rebound, plus chipping in with quite a few assists as well. That's what we're lacking. We've got the great creative player for many years to come. We've got our out-and-out goal scorer. I feel confident that Fabian's just going to get better and better. I love the CB duo we've got. But again, that's my concern for me on the wide areas of the pitch. Maybe better fullbacks going forward as wing-backs, but also inside forwards that create and score a lot more. I'm hoping for like an absolutely incredible wonder kid next season to come in. Like an inside forward on the left with pace for days and a clinical finish as well. That would be the answer to many of our problems for sure, as Maximovic heads in Liverpool's fourth. Yeah, we're not ready. We're not ready just yet. But what did I say in the season finale last year as Trent is denied by a good stop by Rodak? Liverpool, I think, could be what Manchester United were back in my FM17 save with Hull. Now, for those that didn't watch that, Manchester United literally dominated their save. They won the league title practically every single season that save, and that is no exaggeration. They won basically every single season. They won Champions League, they won many FA Cups as well. I think there's a chance Liverpool could be that team in this year's FM. The main rivals and the best team in the world consistently throughout the entire save. And on the basis of this performance, they definitely will be. My word. Are they the best team in the world at this point in the save? I definitely think they're up there. Oh, come on, guys. I tell you, again, the way Manchester United dominated in FM17, this Liverpool team in this save give me the same sort of vibes. Back on top, they've only lost once all season long. They've only conceded 5 goals in 26 games. They won a treble last year. They've got an absolutely extraordinary team. I think they might well be the best team in the save right now. It's going to take someone special to stop Liverpool throughout the entire save. I don't know if it could ever be us. They've won 3 of the last 4 Premier League titles. Obviously 2 of the 3 in the save. Man City won the first title in the save. But since then, it's been Liverpool. Again, they won the FA Cup last year. They won the Champions League last year. Paracambi now considered a good player for most Premier Division sides. Oh, you just love to see it. And by the way, I'm in his favoured personnel as well. Same with Ronaldo in his favoured personnel too. But in fact, FA Cup, I want to see who won it the year before. Okay, so it was Manchester United and Man City in the save so far, but Liverpool did win it last season. They're still in the competition. They are indeed away at Man City, interestingly enough. Yeah, they are going to take some stopping in this save. And there's Fabian's development as well, the perfectionist. I love the big G. Again, I'm also in his favoured personnel as well. I am so happy with how he and Paracambi have hit the ground running in their first seasons. And again, they're only going to get better because they're both still only 18 years old. It's really exciting because that's what we've been lacking in this save so far. Like genuine wonder kid, new gen / regens. We got 2 of them now. They've already got a good link between one another. Love them to pieces. I just dread the day when we get major interest for either of them or quite possibly both of them from your big teams. You know, your PSGs, your Barcelonas, your Real Madrids, you know, your Manchester Cities. Because it will come at some point. It will happen at some point. There's no doubt about it. They will attract major interest. Probably, I wouldn't even be surprised in this upcoming summer transfer window. And because we signed them at 18, by the way, you know, I don't talk about this as much as I probably should, but one of the reasons why I like to sign 18-year-olds and younger is because they can qualify to become homegrown and trained at the club in 3 years' time. So as you can see here, with Babangida, who we signed from Ipswich, he'll become homegrown and trained at the club in the summer. So as he didn't come through our academy and we signed him from Ipswich Town, because he would have been here for 3 straight years, he'll be trained at the club. Same with Geraldo and same with Paracambi. They'll both get it in 2.5 years' time. And obviously that is incredibly useful and beneficial for when you are a European team and you need to meet that squad registration criteria of having 4 homegrown players trained at the club. So that's why I'd always recommend to people, like, if you can't get players through your own youth system, and I rarely ever do myself, so I do feel your pain, sign players that are 18 or younger and don't loan them out. If they stay with you consistently for those 3.5 years, then they will become trained at your 3 years, they'll become trained at your club. So moving on, second and final game, West London derby, Chelsea at Craven Cottage, and I would say right now as we now go 6 points behind both them and Leicester in the race race for European place. We do have the game in hand, but I think from here on out, only wins are going to do. To be honest, draws just aren't going to be enough for us to cut into the deficit. So, heading to the game, player went down in midweek's training, and Panzu. I don't think we'll ever see Panzu again. I mean, I loved Panzu, man. Seriously, that hard-working, energy type of guy. But with his contract come the end of the year, I can't see him playing for the club ever again, unfortunately. But this will be our team, though. 4-2-3-1, Rolex in goal. Back four is now KWP on the left-hand side. Tosin, Jerome, and Connor Roberts coming back in at right-back. Cook comes in to play alongside Zambo, with Grealish on the left. Hansen Aaron, who's been a little bit disappointing this season, on loan from United on the right, and Parakambi supporting Fabian up top. On the bench, Ashby Hammond, Mings, Brian Gagliardini, Babangida, Caballero, and Bamford as well. Second and final game, Chelsea at home. Lose this one, and I think it's safe to say it's all but over. Come on, Fulham. And Panzu was such an odd signing, because when we signed him back in Season 1, I signed him with the Championship in mind. I didn't think we'd be where we are right now as quickly as we have been, and that's why he's barely played for us. I kept thinking in Season 1, oh, we're going down. We're going down, we're playing second tier football next season, so I'll need a guy like that in the Championship. The Championship never came, so Panzu barely played again. I might just give him a contract, to be fair, just to keep him here, because I like him, as Geraldo heads Parakambi's free kick wide the post. Yeah, you know, you like to have guys like that in your team, those squad players, even if they barely play like 3 or 4 times a season and mainly meaningless cup games, it's just nice to have them around the squad, you know? And as I mentioned before, like, every team needs players like that are hard working and push other players in training as well. And I mentioned before, collective determination of a team is very important, so the more players you have with high determination, the higher chance you're going to see your players naturally increase their determination rating if it's lower than the collective determination of the side, if that makes sense. So yeah, still 0-0, 9 minutes after the restart. I haven't played especially bad in this one so far, it seems, by the statistics, but yet to create a clear-cut chance. Then again, same can be said for Chelsea. Hansen Aaron on loan from the Red Devils, trying to get around his man, does well. Cross goes to the back stick, Geraldo keeps the chance alive, and now KWP. Hansen Aaron, saved by Kepa, still 0-0. Hasn't scored or assisted all season long. When I bought him in on loan, I was thinking this could be a steal here. Unfortunately, I know he's had that serious injury, but hasn't really done anything in the games he's played. But, oh well, he's only 18 years old. What can you expect? When you think about as well how young our team are as well, there have been so many games where there's been like 3, 4, sometimes at times 5 teenagers on the pitch at one time. We put a lot of trust and a lot of faith in the youngsters, and that's why, again, you've got to trust the process when you've got a really, really youthful team. Anyway, 17 minutes to go. We haven't seen Chelsea cause us a problem yet. Oh, thank God for that. Marek! Will you open your bloody eyes or put some glasses on? What are you doing? I know nowadays goalkeepers' distribution often gets over-scrutinised, but he's not doing himself any favours out there, is he, Marek, as we're still tied at 0-0, and Chelsea have really upped the ante late on here, going for the winning goal. As Fabio Silva finds Hakimi in acres of space down the right, whips it back to Mason Mount, and that goal is coming. No way we hold on to the clean sheet here. Kulusevski, Fabio Silva, Mason Mount. Oh, 1-0. Rodak gets a touch, couldn't keep it out. It's over. European dreams ended here. Well, again, you know, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And oh, Marek, you have just been bailed out big time by the VAR. My goodness. You know, the Slovakian is superb. Most of the time. His one-on-ones are fantastic. He saves, I would say, the majority of the one-on-ones, but even from bird's eye view, I could see that was a howler from our Slovakian. He just seems to make a lot of mistakes, but mostly in the big games, you know, as Fabio Silva is through and does slot it home for 2-0 Chelsea, and that will do it. They've really turned on in the final 20 minutes or so. Yeah, it's just, he's a great goalkeeper, but not in the big games. Don't get me wrong, I trust the guy long term, I do. I still think in, you know, 3 or 4 years' time, he could be our starting goalkeeper. But as Bamford off the bench, couldn't connect from Roberts' cross, and it remains 2-0. But he just, you know, whenever I go into a big game, I think there's a mistake in him. You know. Such a shame. But anyway, 2-0 final score. West London derby ends in defeat, and that is that. Any chance now qualifying for Europe? It's still on. Look, we're 6 points behind. I'm making out like we're like 15 points behind. Look, there's still a big chance, but I'm not sure we can do it with 11 games to go now. I think the teams above us, quite frankly, are just a step above us right now. Maybe next season that'll be different, but I'm just not sure we can make up the ground with 11 games to go and get the points we need consistently. But that was this episode of the FM Save, guys. Big thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed it, and if you have, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. I'll tell you what we'll do. I think we'll come back with like a double header around here, and then the final games of the season. So maybe we could do like a Brighton away and a Crystal Palace away, or maybe a West Ham at home and a Brighton away. Not entirely sure before we move into the final games of the season. I'll have a think, and we'll come back in next episode, the penultimate episode of season 4. Have a great day, guys. Much love to you all, and I'll see you for the next episode of the FM Save very soon.